My name is Kayla Madonna, and I am young and great. What's up? I'm Kayla Madonna. I am a photographer slash visual influencer slash brand ambassador and social influencer. But me being biracial kind of added to, I guess, kind of like accepting everyone growing up. Like, it was just, I don't know, we live in a different, society today, and I know there's a lot going on, but I think growing up, it blinded me from judging people for like simple things, and I think I just accepted everyone for who they were. And I think today I'm just a very open and loving person, and it allows me to connect with people on a different level just because I've moved around. Growing up, I was in the military. Well, my mom was in the military. I was a military brat, and I moved around a lot, so it allowed me to connect with people like instantly versus being kind of like shut off to myself. What led me to becoming an entrepreneur slash photographer? I went to college and I studied broadcast journalism, and I kind of felt like it wasn't for me. And I was always interested in taking pictures and things like that growing up, and into art, creating. I was always a creative kid. I was like making little mini movies on my mom's old cameras and things like that. So when I went to college, I tried to major in it at Georgia Southern, and the class was full. And then I transferred to Georgia State, and it had an opening, so I got in there, and I kind of like grew a passion, like as far as like the dark room and just the actual like real raw photography and the art of it. And then after that, I just kind of went hard after graduating, and I did the whole getting a regular job thing that did not pertain to my degree at all. And I just kind of thugged it out while still pursuing my career on the side. And then I met people like The Garden who like kind of inspired me and just kind of pushed me to like taking that leap of faith and knowing I can do it versus, working for somebody else. And since then, I recently quit my job in December, so I'm still freshly full-time. But last year I was kind of like went part-time in my job and pursued photography and things like that full-time this year. I think the hardest part about being a business owner is the uncertainty or unknowing of like what's next. You know what I'm saying? Like we have all these goals and visions for ourselves, and then when you achieve them, you have to set new ones, because it's not like nobody's over here telling you what to do. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you're constantly pushing yourself, constantly thinking outside the box for your next idea. And I think that's kind of like, it's not really even a struggle. I think if you like turn it into a positive, it's like your life is never going to be kind of like stagnant. You're always going to be moving, doing something different, meeting new people. And I think that's the beauty of it, because I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. Like, I have a schedule, but if something comes up, you're always down to do it. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard to kind of have like a lineup, or like what you're going to do. It's just kind of fluctuates. Owning a studio has always been a dream of mine. So it's like, now that I have it, I think that like I get like epiphanies or just these visions when I'm even in the space of like how I can empower others. So it's like just it allows me to like cross paths with so many different people from so many different walks of life that I would have never met. Like, we have social media, but it's like we use that tool to then make that physical connection. And I think for me, it's like a whole different like world in being able to touch people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just met this dope photographer. He goes by Champagne Noop, and he's been renting out the space. And I'm just like, seeing his creativity inspires me. And then helping others, like, I'm not like the best at lighting or this and that. And it's like, but if it's like I can help somebody else, that just makes me feel like I have a place. You know what I'm saying? And who knows what you can learn from the next person. So I think just having a space alone just allows you to, connect with people on a different level. And then I can have events and, so many different things. It's like unlimited possibilities. I think relationships in business is very important. I think without relationships, you're just kind of like a fish out of water. You're just out here, you know what I'm saying? And I think it's important to have that foundation of people that you can work with, connect with, build with, because like ultimately we're trying to build each other up. It's not like I can be a great photographer, I can do all these things by myself, but if I don't have a team, You know what I'm saying? It's like you're just kind of a message to send to young women that look up to me. First of all, thank you. I am honored. That's crazy to even think that. I think just being your true self, being true to yourself, being authentic. Don't let like what you think society thinks is beautiful and all these things like constrict you into being free. I think for me growing up, like I didn't feel like I was able to express myself the way I wanted to because I didn't feel beautiful. I didn't feel confident, you know what I'm saying? And I know that's like the superficial thing, but I think that like you can't really leave your mark if you feel like you have to like live inside this bubble. So for young women, I think that's very important. It took a while. I don't think I really got like owned myself like in my true form until recently. Like growing up, I was made fun of because of my ears. I was a skinny little scrawny girl. My hair I was confused. I would straighten it. I would wear it like looking like people call me a wet dog. Like it was horrible, very horrible. And yeah, I don't know. I think it just takes practice, like loving yourself and don't letting like what society thinks is beautiful define you. And I think working with these different brands that I've been blessed with the opportunity to do so with, I think those have allowed me to be more confident, and just meeting these different women from different walks of life and hearing their stories makes you realize like something so small shouldn't impact you. I come off as relatable because I'm not just out there. Like I'm like a extrovert introvert at the same time. I like talking to people one-on-one, but when I get in front of people I get nervous. Like social media is definitely an outlet for me and it allows me to make my own content, but at the same time I'm always like, should I put this out here? Should I like be vulnerable and share my thoughts? Like the other day I dropped like a video just like came straight from the heart and just basically talking about it's okay if you don't know like your plan or what you want to do. Like I said, God has God has everything mapped out for you. You have to allow him to be the author of your life. And just me saying that was just like, oh my gosh, I don't know what people are going to think. But you can't think like that. You have to just put it out there. And the feedback I got was just so fulfilling. You know what I'm saying? So just like being that vessel and being that person that I can just be me. And you have to do things for yourself that make you happy. And I think ultimately that's all that matters at the end of the day. People look for validation in other people. And I think that's the worst mistake you can do. Even with us as women, look for validation in men. And I think that I made that mistake as well. Like I was in a relationship and I ultimately like lost myself. And I think getting out of it was the best thing for me because it allowed me to go through that growth process and like really find out who Kayla Madonna was. You know what I'm saying? And I think that was the best thing that could have ever happened because it kind of literally tore me down and then brought me back up. So now I can speak to those who've been through hard situations, whether it's relationships or being insecure about their physical features or just not wanting to put themselves out there because they're afraid of what people will say. And at the end of the day, like you go home by yourself, you pay your own bills or whatever, you know what I'm saying? You do all these things by yourself. Like why look for that validation in other people that don't matter? Like I don't say they don't matter, but they don't define you. You know what I'm saying? So I think that closing yourself off overall hurts you in the long term than benefits you, because if you look at somebody else living their best life and then you're over here like, oh, they're this and they're that, like you could be all that and more if you put yourself out there, you know? So